Hello and welcome back. I'm Natalie MacDonald and you're joining us here at SuperReturn Asia 2016. It's my great pleasure to welcome into the studio Peter Keehn from Allstate. Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today.
I'm glad to be here, thanks.
You're very, very welcome. Okay, so let's jump straight in then. Peter, I'd love to get sort of your version of events almost at present on what some of the emerging trends are within the PE sector.
Sure. So Allstate's a global investor in private equity. We're based in Chicago, and our liabilities are all American, but yet we've got private equity exposure in the US, in Europe, and Asia. And so a big part of our job is to think about what looks good, what looks bad, all around the world, all the time. And I would say in Asia, where we are here today, we're probably more encouraged than in some of the other markets where we're active. Growth is slowing here, and there's no question. As I've been here this week and spoken with people about how the market feels, a theme we hear recurring from people is, in China in particular, the market is slowing down, the consumer is certainly being impacted. But as I compare that against other opportunities that we look at in Europe and in the States, the growth rate here is not what it once was, but it's still much greater than what we see in the other markets. The challenge is connecting those growth rates with valuation. That's the big issue for us, is do the valuations reflect the slowing, maturing economy?
So with those challenges then faced, what is your outlook for PE at present then?
Sure. I think you have to look at private equity as a long-term business, and valuations will go up and go down. The value of people's private equity portfolios, including ours, will go up and down. But private equity is just a fundamentally a good business. We believe it's an important part of a diversified portfolio, and so our outlook in general is always constructive and encouraging and supportive of the asset class. But what we try to do at any given time is figure out where there may be better opportunities, market by market, as well as even within different industries and sectors and things like that. It's a big challenge, but that's what we're here to do.
So what are some of those opportunities and sectors then perhaps that you're identifying at the moment?
Sure. So Allstate invests principally as a fund investor, and particularly in Asia. And we're also a direct investor. Our entire private equity strategy is focused on working with world-class partners. So we don't lead investments on our own. We really try to identify great local partners to work with, and we'll invest in their funds, but also we invest directly. And that's a bit of a point of differentiation between us and some of our peers. We've made now 4 direct investments in Asia alongside what we think are great partners, and we've actually gotten liquidity on the first one of those already, which is very exciting. It's a deal that worked out very well. And those have been mainly plays on the rising consumer class, which is a theme that has been talked about since I first started coming to Asia, which was probably 10 years ago. And our view is that trend has got a lot of legs still to it. So a lot of our investment has to do with in and around consumer classes, the development of infrastructure in different parts of Asia, also very important to us. So there's a few different sectors. Those would be probably the most significant ones. Mostly, it's businesses that have to do with the consumer.
So also I'd love to hear, Allstate's strategy moving forwards in terms of the PE market and your approach.
Yeah, sure. So really we've evolved as a private equity investor as the market has evolved, and private equity has increased as a percentage of Allstate's overall invested assets really every year since I've been at Allstate, which is 13 years now. So we're big believers in the asset class. We take a very, very long-term view. As I mentioned before, for us it's all about identifying and developing deep relationships with world-class partners, and we do that all around the world. To us, ultimately, the partner is the one that's going to create the value in the businesses. Our job is to identify the partners, make sure that we've got good alignment as between us and them, and ultimately that those partners are both experienced and motivated and aligned to generate good outstanding outcomes for us.
Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. Really appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks very much.
Peter Keehn there from Allstate, live and direct, speaking to you here from SuperReturn Asia 2016. I'm Natalie MacDonald. That's all we've got time for right now. Goodbye.